Hold on tight, love, Shoto whispers, and you wrap your arms around his waist. We're not losing. The wind flows through your hair, and you breathe in a fresh noon air, arms wrapped around the prince. What could be more perfect? Oh, yeah, nothing. Shoto speeds up, passing Takashi's horse, taking the lead. You wave to your guard, sticking your tongue out at him. To him, laughing. Oh my goodness, Shoto, you laugh. Who knew you liked stuff like this? Normally, Shoto says, hands gripping the reins, it would be a peaceful ride, but he had to challenge me. Look who's talking, Takashi says from beside you two. His horse is going full speed to catch up with your larger one. Good old Mary here knows what she's doing, the guard states, confiding in the speed of the horse. Suddenly, a foul smell fills your nose, like a horse halts, hooves picking up dust and dirt. Shoto is quiet, and his looks straight ahead. There it is, you hear Takashi say. The city of Ash, Mayasu. The city, or what's left of it, is black and charred. The only thing left is most of the buildings that were made out of stone. People wandered aimlessly, picking through the rubble, searching for anything that survived. Everyone's faces are glanced in sadness, and some in fear at the sight of Shoto. People glanced at him, then looked quickly away. The sky is dark, matching the gloomy and wondering commoners, and making you realize how many homes are lost. A whole village. The Todoroki kingdom is large, perhaps the largest in all 4 of the kingdoms. Main kingdoms, I should say. But all the loss of Maizuru had been a fatal blow to the king's reputation. Some even say the king hired someone to burn the village, just to increase his power. Things have not been well since. Maybe the king is right, you think. Maybe a wedding is just what this kingdom needs. Even if the king is a tyrant, he's a horrible father. He sure knows how to hide that fact. A wedding is a great idea, although you hate to admit it. But if you and Shoto actually went through with the plan, what if you cheated on Shoto? How would the kingdom react? You haven't been thinking about that plan that much, especially everything that's been going on. And maybe you were starting to like Shoto? It's a crazy thought. You knew you would be leaving your kingdom, leaving your heritage, your family, everything you've ever known. But that's not what matters right now. Mizuwa, the village, this kingdom, these people all need your help. So, what can you do? Shoto, you turn to him. What are the wedding ceremonies like? He climbs off his horse, looking surprised at your question, but helping you down. I'm not sure. I've never been to one. He mumbles, his hand still lingering with yours, eyes drawn to the wreckage of Mizuwa. They're quiet. Takashi butts in, soft voice, nonchalant, even. Not what you expect. The most important wedding take place in the fall. That's probably why the king wants yours to be so soon. You nod, taking a note of that in your mind, but turning to the others. Why are we here, Shoto? He gestures his hand, following towards the village. He darts his eyes between the people searching the rubble. A small girl, covered in ashes, is shifting through what used to be a house. It's now destroyed. Shoto kneels down beside her, tapping her shoulder. She looks at him, her big blue eyes piercing his. She doesn't seem to recognize him. You stand behind the two, next to Takashi, looking at him nervously. What you want, mister? She asks coldly, her voice shaking. Shoto smiles sweetly. He then pulls 2 gold coins out of his pocket, worth 10 aluminum each. Her face lights up and she looks confused. I asked you a question, mister, she states, clutching the coins, as if Shoto might take them back. What do you want? The girl obviously comes from a rough background. Either her home was burned down in the fire, or she's an outsider searched for anything salvageable. Her clothes are covered in ashes from who knows how long she's been suffering through the dead village, and her hair is matted and stringy. I want to help, Shoto mumbles, getting up and looking around again. The girl looks surprised. Then her gaze shifts to Takashi in his uniform. Whoa, she hums. Are you from the palace? Takashi nods, smiling. Sir Takashi, personal guard of the princess, at your service. You smile at the girl, who stares in awe at his uniform. What's your quirk? It's strange how she mentions his quirk. You really never thought of that anymore. On the amount you never used yours, you might as well be quirkless. Well, it's complicating, Takashi muses. I have a heat regulation quirk, really similar to the royal families. How heat related? Sorry, I said that wrong earlier. Now that you think about it, you don't know much about the guard. He's outgoing and quirky, but he doesn't have a family, a lover. So cool, the girl giggles, complimentally forgetting about the prince who gifted her the money. I always wanted to be a guard, you know. What's your name? Takashi asks, patting her head as he grins. Yuna? Well, Madame Yuna, I'm sure the princess here wouldn't mind knighting you. The little girl turns to you. Joy sparkles in her blue eyes. She kneels, shaking with excitement. You tap her shoulder, talking as you do. Madame Yu of Masua, because of your great enthusiastic and fearlessness, I, Princess Mizuka, knight you Dame Yuna of the Todoroki Kingdom. She stands up and hugs you, her arms barely reaching above your waist. Takashi smiles, and you see a hint of sadness in his eyes. You looked around at the village for what remains. People look disheartened, anxious. They're searching for something, anything. They avoid the prince. And that's when you decided you will help this broken kingdom. Somehow, that's your job, isn't it? To be a good queen, and a good queen wouldn't ignore the desperate eyes of her people. Who would do this? You wondered as you ride back to the palace, Shoto guiding the horse. Why would the scarred man burn Masua? It seemed like he lived there also. Again, you remember the girl who you knighted. After that, Shoto handed out food and money to the homeless commoners, stating they need it more than I do. At least that would boost Shoto's image, as a royal reputation is one of the most important parts of ruling, which is probably why King Endeavor is called so. Focused on his own endeavors, the king has never had a great reputation. You sigh, leaning against Shoto's back and wrapping your arms around his waist. You feel him tense up. Something on your mind, princess? He asks. Always, you whisper. There's always something, isn't there? He nods. First, it is our marriage. Now we have bigger problems, Shoto. Should we just get married? It would cause less trouble, and I've been thinking about my life before now. You say, nervous for his response. You remember the strict atmosphere and how your father showed off your quirk, despite you being harassed of yourself. But here, with a famed eternal prince, sure, the king can be crazy, but you feel more at home with Shoto, comfort, and you feel a desire to help the commoners that lost their homes too. Become queen, which you never really wanted until now. You can't see Shoto's face, although you desperately wish you could. He's warm and comfortable. That's the life you longed for. Princess, did you just respond to me? You feel your face heat up. Oh, did you just propose to me? Your face heated up. Well, I guess I did. Unless you don't want to get married, that's completely fine with me. I just thought, I don't know, I wasn't... I'll think about it. Shoto cuts you off, his soft voice calming you down. You feel his right side grow warmer and his left side grow cold. You smile. He feels so real, human. That's all you've ever wanted, to feel human. Not perfect, not a princess with a dangerous quirk. Just human. I'm glad that, of all the people at the party, you were the person I'm having to marry. You whisper, loud enough so only Shoto can hear you, wary of Takashi's riding beside you. I am too. You hear him mumble back. You can see the palace ahead, as you feel different than when you first arrived. Now determined. You're not a child you want to back down now. You're a pushover. Here you are now, not alone anymore. The palace grows closer. It's a fiery presence matching your determination. Where did you go? You press your back against the hall. The king's voice booming through the door. Answer me, the king says to Shoto. You can hear the anger in his voice. You leave for 2 hours without my permission or even acknowledgement, with my best knight and horses, and you broke a carriage? You don't hear Shoto answer. Instead, you hear glass breaking. You don't own me. Shoto's voice is quivering, just enough that you notice. You can feel a fire grow inside you, but you don't feel guilty for eavesdropping. I'm done being quiet. You storm through the door, forgetting everything your father ever taught you. Rule with dignity, respect. You can hear his words in your ear as you open the door to where Shoto and his father are arguing. The room is silent and glass litters the floor. The king doesn't look happy, but you're tired of respecting people who don't deserve it. The king starts to speak up, but you interrupt. Shut it, and let me speak. He glares at Shoto. You can't bear to look at the prince. I'm tired of it. All of you yelling, fighting. Why can't you see your kingdom is suffering? The girl flashes in your head. Her ash-covered clothes, matted, unruly hair. Hundreds of people under your rule are homeless. Hopeless. You snarl, throwing the words of the king like spears. He looks scared. You close your eyes, not wanting to face him anymore. It's all too much. The arranged marriage, the people having a burnt village, rumors of a rebellion against the royalty. It's too much. Just all too much. Please, just help them, your majesty. Your head is spinning, but you laugh and bow to taunt the king. You see flashes of green. Is the king coughing? The world goes black. It feels just like that day.